Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm doing this full review on WW12 while I'm typing up my mom's paper for her online class. And, somebody asked me here on YouTube if I was ever going to do a review on WW12, a full review, and I figured why not do it. I was actually doing it yesterday, but that's when my nephew showed up, so I have to redo it today. And hopefully I can get it uploaded before they show up, or if they show up, just to get it uploaded before then. Basically, my thoughts overall on WW12 is I think it does surpass a lot of people's expectations. It's really, it's really something that you could play on and off again, no matter how many times. The only problem I'm pretty sure anybody has with it so far is the community creations, and and basically, the reason that's probably the only problem is because any time you try to go on there, I mean, yeah, you are able to, you are able to see what's hot, what's the hottest community creations to be uploaded, reviewed, and downloaded. But at times when you try to look for a certain creation, it'll sometimes take a while. And even though they added a patch and they try to stabilize it, there's still a problem with the server. Now apparently the peak times to play the server to be on community creations, I should say, apparently is late at night, between Pacific time wise, between 9 p.m. to maybe about 6 a.m. Pacific time. So that's basically the only option you have. Those are the peak hours, and you still might get trouble here and there, but it's more reliable that you'll get in and be able to download certain logos, created characters, arenas, and so forth. So again, I mean, even though it does work a little better during the day, it's still got some tweaking to do before it could really be released, if you will, or not really released, but really enjoyed by a lot of people during the day or something, But besides that, and the fact that there are still a few glitches here and there, not many, obviously that's been worked on. Like I said, it does surpass expectations. It's definitely better than the previous one. They got everything back on there. They got the created character, of course. They got the created story. I think somewhere, when they were repatching everything and giving you that patch to download, they even said that you can now have a brand completely filled of created wrestlers, which I think is pretty cool. So that's kind of a cool option to have if you want to go in that direction. But probably the most talked about and the most loved inclusion now, addition to this whole curated process, is the Curated Arena. I don't know if many people know this, but this is the first time since WWF Attitude that we've had a Curated Arena option in any WWE game. Basically, you're now able to customize an arena that's similar to what you see like on pay-per-view or on Raw and SmackDown, to whatever kind of arena you want. And there have been some very creative arenas. One person, I think we all know who he is. His name's West. He goes by the name of his YouTube name is West Coast Cause, and so on. And there's also D Fantasy Cause and all that. And they do some such curated arenas. It's really remarkable. I mean, I've downloaded a Marvel versus Capcom, Marvel versus DC, a DC one, Turtles, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and the list goes on. So, but again, like I say, the list, just goes on. So that's pretty cool. I mean, like I said, you can customize the ring, the announce table. You could choose either steel barricade or the modern barricade that they use. You can, that little Tron thing that the arenas have nowadays. You can now use that to put your logo on or whatever design you want on there. Which again, I think is a very cool feature. But, even though it's a very cool feature, which everybody's glad to have, I also think it could be one that can be improved on for the possible sequel. Because let's face it, this game did sell out good, or it has been selling good. It's been getting critical praise, except with the exceptions of maybe the fact that, it has problems with the community creations and everything that they're improving on. There's no doubt there's going to be a WWE 13. So my suggestion for them when it comes to doing the sequel is to, when it comes to, like, if you're going to keep the curated move, definitely improve on that. To the point that not only could we curate the arena, the announce table, and all that, but also curate the stage. I think that's the next option they should add to the sequel, is curate the stage. Because you see all these unique arenas that we have with the staging area. My thought is what THQ needs to do next is add the stage area to the Curated Arena mode. Like give you an option of like what kind of size Tron do you want? What do you want on the sides and all that? Do you want mini Trons on the side? Do you want a Tron? What size? Basically, what kind of stage and Trons and design do you want for the staging area and the ramp area as they're coming down to the ring? I think that's what they need to add into the sequel. I mean, into WWE 13, which I'm pretty sure they're going to be releasing later this year. I hope. So that's one thing I think they should really, look into when they do the sequel, is add that in as well. Another thing I like about this is they actually finally get you to get the announcer to say your name. I mean, yeah, one of the things they do have to improve on when it comes to the announcing is having the announcers kind of be revamped. Allow them to say more than just what you've normally heard in the previous games, even though they have some new lines and everything, which is good. Have them say other things, like when you're creating your character and you have to do the name. To me, we shouldn't have to just be limited to just say, okay, the ring announcer says our name and maybe what our nickname is, but the announcing team still calls us like Hero or Thunder and all that. My thought is they should at least call us by our real names. So like instead of saying Hero, instead of hearing like Michael Cole go like, all right, Hero going into the hold here, it should be something like Brian going into a hold here, or something like that. And I think that would be pretty cool. Well, because they've done that before, I think they should bring that back. So that's one thing I think they should work on there. Another thing is what I like is the addition of the custom video deal. I like how now you don't have to use your highlights to make a Videotron, you just make it right there. And I love how they give you all these options from like superhero to the undead to sexy diva to evil diva to being a patriot for all the countries that are represented there. I love that. That's pretty cool. And again, just like with the Curated Arena, I think they should improve on that as well. They should add more options to that so that you don't always just have to have just like, you know, what you see, what your finished product is in the end. Give it more options. So you know, that I believe could definitely be improved on. For the sequel, and I think it's something they should take into consideration. Overall, besides that, I think the gameplay is very solid when it can be, and basically been patched up to be. I think it's very solid. You know, the story mode, the Road to WrestleMania mode, it's very different from years past. You know, instead of having separate Road to WrestleMania modes, it's like one after another. It's like separated in chapters. Like chapter 1 is the villain story, chapter 2 is the outsider story, and the final chapter is the hero story. And the hero story is pretty unique because basically it's I guess you could say it's WWE's take on what the NWO invasion was for WCW, but instead they have WCW in the place of NWO, and it's all being led by Kevin Nash and your character. Either you choose one that you've already created, or you create a completely new character to be the Jacob Cass, who's voiced by Austin Aries, by the way. Whoever you choose, like I said, whether you choose to create, or basically, you know, choose somebody you've already created. Your main goal is to save the WWE from being taken over. And I love how they kind of trick you at the end of WrestleMania, because usually with other Road to WrestleMania stories, you win at Mania and that's it. But you end up losing at Mania instead in this one, and when it looks like the credits are rolling, static comes up, Kevin Nash shows up, and we're entering basically the final part, the sub part, if you will, the final leg of the final chapter, where you have to deal with Nitro taking over Raw's position. And basically it all climaxes with a Hell in a Cell War Games match at Starrcade. So that's pretty awesome, and I like it. I thought it was really cool. But overall, an enjoyable experience, with the exception of a few issues that still need to be worked out, like the community creations and the server on that, a few glitches that still need to be patched up. Overall, a very playable experience. I highly recommend you buy this game if you're a wrestling fan, or if you're just a fan of fighting games in general, with story modes worked in perfectly like this is. So that's all I'm going to say on it. I'll give it an 8 out of 10, you know, like I said, with the glitches and all that and stuff that still needs to be worked out, but a solid 8 out of 10. Again, check it out. It's definitely worth buying. And that's all I'm going to say. Comment down below if you like. I'll talk to y'all later.